Thank you, Agendra sir, for such an enlightening initiation to the event and a comprehensive insight into the vibrant, dynamic, and highly relevant geospatial industry. I would now like to invite to the dais Lieutenant General Girish Kumar, former Surveyor General of India. Shri Girish Kumar is currently serving as the Chairman, Monitoring Committee of Swamitwa, and Mission Director and Vice Chairman of Drone Imaging and Information Services in the Government of Haryana. Under his guidance, the country has seen a diverse and amplified development of geospatial science and applications. He has spearheaded the conception and launch of drone survey for the ambitious Swamitwa scheme with the Ministry of Panchayati Raj. Girish sir.
My distinguished colleagues on the dais, leaders from the government sector and industry, and participants online and offline, a very good morning and namaskar. It's my privilege to be here amongst all of you, amongst the leaders, to share my experience and thoughts. Agendraji has made my job much simpler. He's given all the statistics, and I'd like to discuss some of the challenges or the tasks which are yet to be completed to ensure that India becomes world leader in geospatial sector also. We all know that India is growing as a very fast world economic leader also, and world is looking at India for various solutions and services, whether we have seen in the pandemic also or in other sectors. Government of India has already announced a lot of new policies and guidelines, which Agendraji has just informed all of you. The geospatial guidelines announced in 2021, drone rules, satellite imaging. Now, if you talk about the geospatial guidelines, it talks of few very important issues. One is the infrastructure, geospatial infrastructure in the country. Then it talks of foundation data set, talks of liberalization of surveying, democratization of the digital geospatial data, and collaboration. If we see that where we are on these challenges and what we need to do further, because it's a leadership summit and I'm sure most of the leaders are here, so I'd like to bring to their notice that how they can contribute further in making India as a world leader. Now first we come to, because everything geospatial starts with the infrastructure. So the basic infrastructure has to be in place. That in any case, I feel the government has to do it, and a lot of work has already been done. Like I have been saying in the past also, that first the GTS survey was done, it took 50 years. Then the GPS, National Mapping Policy, was announced in 2005. So they were all passive stations. Now we have the CORS. We are late in getting CORS in the country, but it's never too late if we can still move and run fast. Sometimes we see in relay race that one participant is running slow. It's okay, but others can make it. So when we started our journey on CORS, there was no money. So we went around to meet various stakeholders. We tried to convince them. Initially, everybody used to say, why should we invest money in this? This is your job, this is your job. But ultimately, we convinced them this is not only one, this is a collaborative government of India's job. Whether you take money from A pocket or B pocket, that is immaterial. So now the collaboration started. So we had the first CORS in the country coming from National Hydrology Project. That was in UP and Uttarakhand. Then we convinced the states that it is very beneficial to you. It has got a lot of advantages because you deal with the land and every other information related to earth in your state. So then came Maharashtra, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Haryana. The states also started joining. And then came the Ministry of Panchayati Raj. We convinced them also that this could be one of the very important activity to achieve your goal. Now, it means now the journey has commenced, but still a lot is to be done. Now we are targeting only about 900 or maybe 1000 CORS stations in the country. But I feel they are not sufficient because in urban areas, around urban areas, you need higher accuracies. Remote areas, northeast areas, there will be challenges. Because as on today, our CORS is dependent on communication. Broadband is not there in most of the places, like in Rajasthan, people are facing challenges. Broadband connectivity is not there. The GSM connectivity is very poor. So how do you transmit corrections? So it means along with the CORS, other infrastructure also needs to come up. But the densification of CORS network is very, very important. Another important aspect of the infrastructure is the height, vertical. The CORS will give you X, Y, it gives Z also, but that is not orthometric. So how do we take advantage and how we move forward as far as the Z is concerned? Again, geoid model in the country was not there. The conventional method is very expensive, laborious, time consuming, which nobody wants to do nowadays. So then again the government has to make sure that this geoid model for the entire country is made available. Again we started collaborative approach, joining with states, some funds from hydrology project, some from Swamitwa, but still it is not done. So here my one suggestion to AGI. Now you are representing the industry. Government policy says any citizen or Indian entity can generate any accuracy of data. How do you do that if these two things are missing? So this should be one of your main charters to demand from the government that the infrastructure should be in place and keep asking for it. I heard that few months back there was an industry meeting and the Honorable Minister asked, what do you want? And industry said nothing. We are satisfied with the policy. I'll give some homework today because that is my job to give once I have left the place. So if you call an old man, he'll come and give you some homework only. So this should be your one of the main demand, that infrastructure should be in place as far as X, Y and Z is concerned. Without that, your collecting accurate data is a distant dream. Now, even if you talk of the urban cadastre or rural cadastre, we all feel that rural cadastre doesn't need height. Why? If there is a undulating ground, then slope is also measured. The person who is owning land, he is cultivating on slope also. How do you get it? So, urban cadastre or rural cadastre, which is our lifeline, because we all own a piece of land either in cities or in rural areas. And entire India has to be covered as far as these two infrastructures are concerned. Now, how do you use it? Infrastructure is in place. The private industry can buy rovers, but the government entities are not able to buy rovers because of the Make in India clause, and it's very good. I always appreciate that India should be self-reliant and self-sustained. So the again industry needs to work out now. How do we provide us Make in India rovers? Because the system is in place and the maximum user is not industry, is the government sector. Whether you talk of land management, urban management, railways, national highways, Jal Shakti, you name any ministry, because the major investment and the push will come from the government. And if the government is not able to use this infrastructure, alone industry using it may not serve the complete purpose. So this is here now my request to the industry is that please come out with a solution and provide us rovers made in India. This is very, very essential and very critical for us now. Now, even if we have rovers now, how do we use it? Do we really have skilled manpower? No. Generally, I have seen in the geospatial sector and industries, they hire any graduate, give him a limited training of line by line feature extraction or just holding the instrument and take one observation. I think this is not the way that the geospatial sector will grow in country. We, along with the AGI, had tried for the recognition of geospatial as a sector. But somehow there were so many big fishes in this domain that they never allowed this sector to come up. Everybody wanted to grab, whether it's a coal sector, power sector, telecom sector, whereas we continue to tell them that geospatial is your backbone. Without that, even your sector will also not flourish. If we don't tell you where is your coal mine, how much coal you have taken out, who is going to tell you this? Geospatial only. So it is cross-sector utilization of the geospatial. So it means the geospatial should be an independent sector. AGI had been doing excellent job in taking it up, but somehow it has lost that push. So my again request to AGI would be to take it up further and make it one of your tasks to ensure that the geospatial is recognized, whether it's a sector council or a subsector council, that doesn't matter, but it should be independent. Sometimes we see honorable minister is there, cabinet minister, but even the state minister also has got equal value. So even if it is a subsector, go for it, rather than becoming part of any other sectors. Once we have the capacity and professionally trained manpower, then comes the foundation data. Now, foundation data is to be generated. India is a very huge land mass. No one agency can really do it because a lot of money is required, time frame is required, patience is required, and nobody has got. Everybody wants to run in their own domain independently. उसको छोड़ो यार, आप अपने पे ध्यान रखो, वो नहीं चलेगा. Until unless the AGI brings all the major partners in developing this foundation data, it will not be possible. Railways has got its own infrastructure, they need to create their GIS. Jal Shakti has got its own infrastructure, all major rivers are there, they need to be mapped. Not only the topography, but even the underwater also. Land record, land management, whether it's urban or rural, both are very important. Similarly, Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, so many schemes are coming up, Smart City, Amrut, then 3-tier, we made a program for the 3-tier cities also. Until and unless we start following standards, these data sets will not talk to each other. So again, I feel it should be one of the mandate of or task of the AGI to advise. See, it is not only selling hardware, software and solutions. No, you need to become more mature and become more relevant and visible in advising government also that please follow some standards. It is not only taking one tender and enjoying, okay, now I am sufficient for next 2 years, so I have my numbers with me. But as a AGI, you should be more responsible for bringing out these standards and advising the government that please do take up the projects, but it should be taken in such a manner that the all data sets they talk to each other. Because if they don't talk, then the foundation data set, the concept will be lost. Who is going to do that? There has to be a common entity which can talk to everyone. And I think AGI can definitely do that job of bringing all major stakeholders on under what program. Now, once we talk of the standards, like Agendarji mentioned, that the delayed payments. Now, the delayed payments are not because of the government also alone. It is, the problem is with the industry also. That while taking up the project, you take up the project, and then nobody knows how to validate the data. The data validation is the biggest challenge. Data generation is not a challenge because the acceptability of the data will come from the validation process. If that third party validation is not in place, because the project is started by A officer, by the time is a good omen. By the time the project is completed, the A officer is transferred and B officer has come. Now, they are not domain experts, but it means that the validation process must be in place. So while you take up a project, ensure that there should be a question in your mind that who is going to accept my data. Without naming states, I'll tell you that the complete data set was created and it never saw the day of the light. Companies get money by arbitration, but is that the aim? That get money by going for arbitration case? If that is the aim, then God will help us. But the aim should be that you deliver something which is used by agencies, which is used by the country, which is shared by others. And the sharing confidence will come only if you have a validated and accurate data set. There are so many applications where you don't need accurate data sets. I am not talking about those applications. But when you talk of the foundation data on which various planning will be done, the government departments will spend a lot of money. I am talking about those data sets. So let's not mix up other applications where accuracy is not very important. They are also required. Zomato, Uber, Ola, they don't need high accuracy, but they need to deliver. That is also affecting our day-to-day life. But let's not mix up the issues. We are here talking about the foundation data. And foundation data is very, very important and very critical. So we were talking about the how do we use. If the skilled manpower is there, Like we have the concept of the licensed chartered accountants, advocates, registered advocates. Why can't we have licensed surveyors? This also we have been talking for many years. Karnataka has got, and I don't know whether other states have implemented or not. But as a AGI, you should also ask for licensing. That will give confidence to the government sector that, okay, we have a person on ground who is professional and whose work can be accepted blindly. So this we initiated, but somehow it got lost in between. So if this one activity can also be taken up by AGI, ask the government to bring in whatever they want to do. It is not licensing, it is certification that somebody is authorized to do, like I'll tell you, in Haryana we have seen the patwaris, they used to measure with tapes and chains. But then GPS came in, so they started outsourcing. It is being outsourced. It is not that it is not being outsourced, but are they really qualified surveyors? Things will keep on moving. If we don't have a proper regulation in place, still things will move. But it's better to bring in a certification authority so that the agencies, the government sector, or even the private also, see, you are a service provider, but not that everyone is, they are consumers. So even they will be confident that yes, we have the professionals who are certifying the work and their work can be accepted like it is. So this is also one of the bigger challenge which we need to see. Now there are so many government programs, important programs which the government has announced, like Swamitwa, DILRMP. I am sure our Special Secretary Meena Saab will talk about that. So that is his domain and he's got passion about that work. Amrut, 3-tier cities, Jal Shakti. Now to bring all these agencies together and make sure that the data sets generated by them, they talk to each other. That is very, very important. Now, after liberalization of the drone rules in 2018, when we started drone, nobody knew that drones can be used for mapping also. We initiated small POCs with the Maharashtra and Haryana. They were successful. And slowly we started building. That time we were dependent on drones from abroad, but now we have the complete drone industry which is very vibrant and coming up. So drone is becoming a very good alternative as far as the geospatial data set is concerned. It has got more flexibility and higher accuracies. So it means that in the last 3 to 4 years, the concept of mapping has totally changed. We brought in a new dimension of mapping. And now with the geospatial policy, the usage of cloud has also been allowed. When we started mapping, that time every image of the drone captured was restricted. But now government has liberalized everything. The cloud has come. The cloud data processing has come. So it means the technology is changing so fast. And unless we keep pace with it, especially the government agencies, because in government sector we feel that we are a little bit apprehensive. The decision making is not so fast. But I'll request the industry to come out with solutions which can be confidently accepted by the government agencies. Their concerns generally remains data privacy, data security. The guideline says that make in India, the cloud should be within India. So these are the things where again industry has to come up and provide solution. Because concept is changing very fast. You fly drone in the field, From the field itself, you upload the data on cloud, do the processing by night, next day start digitizing it, go for AI, go for machine learning, and provide data immediately. Real-time data set is becoming a need of an hour. So if we can work together and provide solutions which are technically sound and economical also. Every opportunity is not a business opportunity to begin with, but if you can bring in slowly and slowly, it will become a big opportunity. When we started drone mapping, nobody wanted to go for it. But we said we kept everything very low. Now slowly and slowly it is increasing. So the cloud solution is now very critical infrastructure as far as the geospatial is concerned. So I'll request industry to come out with solutions. End-to-end solution can be done, and it will provide real-time solutions. So to sum up, public-private partnership is again a distant dream in India because a lot of investment needs to be brought in. Some companies have been talking about content program covering entire India, but then they'll look at the commercialization of the same also. I'm sure that in a few years to come, this will also become a reality and people will start asking it, provided you are confident about your data integrity in terms of accuracy, reliability and currentness. Days are not very far when geospatial itself will drive the economy. All the sustainable development goals out of 17, 13 goals, they take direct input from the geospatial to measure sustainable development goal of any country, of any nation. So it means it is a very important, I need not to tell you, but only thing that the EGI can really take up a lead role now to bring all the stakeholders together and keep inviting us. We'll keep sharing we'll keep giving you some ideas how to move forward. And I don't think that you need advice also, but sometimes it's better to share with old people also. So all the best. Thank you so much for inviting me. And I'm really thankful to AGI and all the leaders. And Jai Hind and Jai Bharat.